One of the more polarizing aspects of Cannondale bikes has always been their tendency to ignore industry standards and cook up their own solutions. Depending on where you stand, you may love or hate the look of the fatty head shocks or the lack of symmetry of the lefty suspension fork. If we take it back to the early 90s, aluminum frames weren't exactly futuristic anymore, but for forks to be made of aluminum, that was still a whole other topic. First introduced in the 1990 SM2000, Cannondale's very own aluminum Pepperoni fork was therefore as thick as it was innovative. On the 92 M800, without any consideration of how that would affect bike Restomodders 30 plus years in the future, they opted for a 1¼ inch fork steerer tube, not 1/1/8, 1¼ Given that finding alternate stems in that size is pretty much impossible, it makes this rebuild one of those occasions where we'll have to plan our entire build around a single irreplaceable component. That said, I really don't want to sound like I'm complaining. How could I, when the bike in question looks like it has not seen any modifications since it rolled out of the shop? In this particular case, a shop called Cyclus on Johnson Drive in Ventura, California, which makes whatever is going on here with this quick release skewer one of the more noteworthy modifications of this build. Oh, and once we're done, the bike will be for sale on our website. I've stripped the whole frame down and everything came off without problems as you would expect here, but there's also some unexpected rust that we need to deal with. Plus we also need to decide what we're doing with this sticker. Usually I like to remove stickers from other bike shops, but in this case I'm not sure. Very few of these parts are going back on the bike, pretty much just the derailleur and the stem. This is the first generation of Force 40. This is the second generation. These are great. These, I'd say avoid these if you can. Those I highly rate. But let's get back to the frame, where I've decided to actually remove the sticker. I just fear that it won't look good because it won't really blend in with the design that I'm going for. If you heat up the glue, the stickers usually come off pretty easily. And if you're fast enough, you can sometimes reattach them somewhere else. And on a quick side note, if you've wondered how big the difference between a 1 inch and a 1¼ inch steerer tube is, it's pretty big. The frame is pretty clean as it is, so I'm just going to attend to some of those little nooks and crannies where the dirt really collects, and obviously those brake buses. All the components and the tools that I'm using, as always, they're linked in the video description, and you can also scan the QR code that is on screen now and get straight to our shop and look for bikes and parts, whatever you're in the mood for. With the frame nice and clean, it's time for a polish. Today I'm not using the scratch repair paste. The frame condition is really good, or the paint condition I should say. So yeah, I just want to add some more shine or bring back some more shine to the finish. Now that the frame is polished and protected, it's time to move on to the wheel set that will have a little surprise in store for us. What is this? Check out this mess. Looks like this tube had an extra puncture protection layer on it. Yeah, I have never seen this before. It looks like chocolate. Ooh, that's just lovely. Chocolate chips, anyone? The now chocolate-free wheels are also going back on the bike, but before we can mount these components, I want to give them a little polish with Autosol, and then we can think about the build. The best starting point design-wise is always to work off of what is already on the frame, and since we have accent colors in black, orange and white, that's what I'm going to focus on. I think these orange grips are the only color that we're adding, but I'm not fully decided on the handlebars yet. I think in terms of the length of the stem, it's just at the border of where riser bars still make sense. So I'm considering these swept back curved bars that we also used on the Kuwahara Cheetah that I rebuilt recently. They sweep the bars backwards a little bit, so make the whole setup a little bit more compact, and those could certainly be an option as well. There's also a more neon orange color option, but I think that's too much an in-between color, so it doesn't make sense. We could also incorporate some orange metal parts, but that kind of thing quickly gets out of hand and just becomes too much. And in order to reduce some of the color, I'm thinking we could also go for Billy Bonkers tires and make those all black to really have that little color that we have on the bike with the grips stand out even more. And we could also add a little bit more color with a white brake cable. Those again can be quite overpowering and attention grabbing, so maybe we'll mix it up and do just the front in white. I'm going to use red Jaguar brake pads and also switch out the brake cable attachment bolt. I think a silver one would be nicer on these brakes here, and the red DX brakes, I really don't like the silver bolt on there, and should be a win-win. I think it's best to install these bolts now to make sure that the shifter cable doesn't interfere with them. But since there are no issues, we're good to go with our California Cross. Thank you for joining me today. Feel free to like, subscribe, and purchase the bike. And I'll see you in the next video. But first, let's look at the bike together. If you enjoyed this rebuild, why not watch our full Cannondale build playlist or one of these other 2 videos that I'm sure you're gonna love.